You love podcasts, the stories, the laughs, the unexpected turns. But when this episode ends, the silence starts. Not anymore. Audiobooks.com turns that silence into your next great adventure. With over 450,000 titles, from bestsellers to hidden gems, your love for listening just found its new best friend. And because you already know the joy of audio, we're giving you 3 free audiobooks to start your journey. Imagine your favorite podcast, now with unlimited episodes. That's audiobooks.com. Keep the story going. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcastfree today. Because for podcast lovers like you, the end of an episode is just the beginning. That's audiobooks.com/podcastfree.
All right, before we get started today, I got to give a big shout out and respect to Bob Bott. And Bob is the newest patron over and supporter of the show over at patreon.com. And it's Bott. That's like the worst last name for me to say with my Boston accent, but it's like Bart. I got to slow down and concentrate. But yeah, so Bob Bott is the newest patron and supporter of the show. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Patreon is a way for you to, as a listener and consumer of this material, to be able to support the show financially and help the show continue to go and grow. There's 4 different levels of support that you can choose from, and they all have their own privileges and benefits and things like that. But, you know, it's also a way for you to be more engaged with the show, because I'll put stuff out there, get questions from members and see what they want to do. And I got a lot more planned coming up for this year. So now's the time to get involved. Go over to patreon.com/bigtruth and you can check it out there. Again, patreon.com/bigtruth. Now, if you're looking for some motorcycle parts, or you need some riding gear or whatnot, you need to check out oldbikebarn.com. Well, just Old Bike Barn over at oldbikebarn.com, and on Instagram at Old Bike Barn. They got everything you need for your custom bike, your chopper, your cafe racer, desert sled, whatever, you know, stock bike, especially all that hard to find old stuff for the old Japanese bikes. You can check them out there. They got a lot of that stuff that no one else has. So Old Bike Barn at oldbikebarn.com. They also have their own line of leather apparel and stuff, and knives, and under the White Knuckler brand, all kinds of rad shit. So just check them out, and they're also good dudes and very involved in the scene and very supportive of the motorcycling scene. So they're good people to support. If you're having problems sleeping, or you have inflammation problems or soreness, you know, muscular stuff, anxiety, depression, things like that, and you've heard about CBD and you wanted to get into that market and check some CBD oil out, I can tell you for sure it helps me with gym recovery and also for sleeping. You need to check out Cradle Lake Clear because there's so many CBD things on the market, and you can go down to your local convenience store or bodega, and they got all kinds of shit there. I guarantee you a lot of that's garbage. This stuff is made from pure ingredients through pure processes. You go over CradleLakeClear.com, they break it all down scientifically and tell you why there's the CBD oil that you want to check out. So check them out, CradleLakeClear.com, best in the market. If you know, I know we're still in summer here. It was humid as fuck today. So if you got a dirty dingus and you look like an extra from Woodstock, you need to go to Manscaped at manscaped.com and get the Lawnmower 4.0 and trim your shit up. And they got these scientifically developed blades that are made out of ceramic, so they are less apt to cut or scrape or scratch or cause any kind of ball blood to show up on your fingertips. So check them out at manscaped.com. Lawnmower 4.0. They got all kinds of other products you'd probably be interested in. But yeah, you know, your significant other will thank you very much for getting rid of that for deforesting that fucking jungle. And if you use the promo code BigTruth at checkout, you get 20% off your order and free shipping. So go to manscaped.com, use the promo code BigTruth at checkout. You get free shipping. I think pretty much anywhere. I think it's international free shipping. But also just, even if you need to give that shit as a gift, good shit, 20% off. No losing there. Also, while we're talking about 20% off, I forgot to mention Cradle Lake Clear. Use the promo code Big Truth there, and you'll get 20% off. I think it's 20 or 30%, something significant over there if you use the promo code Big Truth over at Cradle Lake Clear. And, while we're talking about 20% off, you need to check out Omerta, toughest, realest, fucking dopest streetwear brand on the market that there is, like hands down. Most legit. That's all I got to say. All kinds of shit there. Whether you need a hoodie or a shirt or T-shirt or long sleeve or socks, jackets, scarves, whatever. They got it. So go check them out. Omertamia.com. Omertamia. Omertamia.com. On Instagram, simply at Omertamia. Use the promo code Big Truth there. You'll also get, you guessed it, 20% off your order. Now, if you happen to be in the unfortunate situation where you find yourself in a motorcycle accident, and unfortunately that's something that's happening a little more often than not nowadays, you need to check out Law Tigers over at lawtigers.com. They are a motorcycle law firm that was founded by riders for riders, and they specialize in motorcycle accidents. I hope you never have to use that one, but if you do, that's a fucking, you got a little bit of power in your arsenal there. So go check them out, lawtigers.com, or go to Facebook and type in Law Tigers in your state, and you get in touch with the local office. So if you live in Oklahoma, you type in Law Tigers, Oklahoma, and you'll get in touch with the regional office there. So lawtigers.com, or go to Facebook and type in Law Tigers and your state. If you're into if you're a little bit off, right, and you're a little bit dark or a little bit weird, and you're into shit like serial killers or like occult shit, fucking, psychedelics, drugs, shit like that, choppers, boogie vans, 70s show vans. If any of these things sound enticing to you, then you need to check out Heavy over at heavy.bigcartel.com. Heavy.bigcartel.com, not Crom. We're not talking about gods of Conan. But yeah, heavy.bigcartel.com. My man Zach Doom's clothing company, and also purveyor of nefarious products for different uses. So you check them out, heavy.bigcartel.com, and on Instagram at Heavy Clothing. They got rad shit. I don't even need to say more. Just go check it out. If you are looking for more information, if you're into motorcycles and riding and customizing and building custom bikes, choppers, whatever, you need to check out Chop Cult at chopcult.com. They're the biggest kind of message board and information clearinghouse there is for the underground motorcycle scene. They got probably the biggest message board that there is, the biggest and most active, and it's all broken up by topic, so it's easy to navigate around. They got a swap meet online where you can buy, sell, trade parts. They got an events page where it's got broken up by date and region and state and location or whatever. So you can find motorcycle related events happening near you. And they got a mailing list and newsletters. And the best part about it is everything is absolutely free. Big donut, you pay nothing. And they don't ask for your credit card or nothing sketchy. So check them out, chopcult.com, and on every social media, simply at chopcult. If you are also still looking, if you're into punk, hardcore, metal, you need to check out my homies over at Pitchfork, which is at pitchforkny.com. If you don't know Pitchfork, you better get acquainted, because they got a clothing company really geared towards, they're mainstays in the punk, hardcore, and metal scene. So, but check them out. Pitchforkny.com. They also a record label. They do back to school 7-inch series. They got West Coast bands on one side of the record, East Coast bands on the other. Bands like Rancid, Murphy's Law, Sick of It All, all kinds of shit. Count Time, Eulogy, but you just got to check them out. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm kind of rushing through to get these commercials because I always feel like these go too long. But yeah, check them out, pitchforkny.com, on Instagram at pitchforkny. And, you know, if you are looking to, or especially if you're in New England, you need to come by my shop, Chop Ahead. If you don't know it, get acquainted. chopahead.com, spelt in the masshole way, which is CHOPPAHEAD. Again, CHOPPAHEAD. We are a full-service brick-and-mortar motorcycle shop. We're not lifestyle dudes. We are, you know, we're not a brand. We are the fucking lifestyle. You need anything from an oil change to a full custom chopper built, everything in between. We do it. Full service and repair shop. We have a parts counter. We got a showroom with bikes and riding gear and all the shit you need. So you come here, you want to order a helmet online, don't be a dummy. Come in here, try shit on so you're not sending shit back and getting the wrong shit. You know what I mean? Super easy. Just come in. Yeah, anyone's welcome anytime. We're open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5 in the week, 11 to 5 on Saturdays. You know, Sundays I'm here most of the time, but leave me alone. Let me get some work done. I kid. But yeah. Check us out, chopahead.com. If there's something you need and you don't see it, shoot us a message, shoot us an email. We can get it. We're set up with pretty much everyone. Whatever part you need, we either make it or can get it. So that's that. At Instagram, it's just at Chopahead. And on Facebook, it's Chopahead Customs with a K. And last but not least, if you want more information on the show, check out Big Truth Podcast. And please, very important, if you like the show, spread the word, and make sure you leave a review wherever you're listening. Hit like, leave stars, leave a written review, share it with people, spread the word. Let's keep this thing going. And enough of me yapping. Let's get into this episode right now.
Sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
Yeah, once again, we have liftoff. I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Big Truth Podcast. And today we're broadcasting live from the Sheraton Hotel in Boston, Massachusetts. And I got my boy Swiss, my brother Swiss in town from Colorado. He was out here for the, what was the name of the convention?
Yeah, it was NECAN, New England Cannabis Convention.
Yeah, and it was like a business-to-business like convention, right? Or was it like a business-to-consumer thing?
No, it was more B2B, business to business. Like you got the cultivation companies there, light companies, extraction companies, security companies. More B2B, like you said, like looking out for like people starting up cultivation labs, licensed facilities out here, that kind of thing. Not more like the other side of the weed trade shows, like the high time shit. There's a big party. It's more, like B2B for sure. Yeah.
And my other brother Dan, well, both our brothers Dan, fucking Tantillo from the tattoo shop.
Hey,
who's my weed extraordinaire go-to person. Like it only made sense to have Dan sit in on this one with us and co-host and be the color man who adds color commentary and
yeah. When he said he was doing this, I said, weed's my only hobby, man. You gotta let me come through.
Absolutely. And so this little doodad here, we just smoked some. What did we smoke? Hash?
Yeah, so that's that thing you're holding is called a Puffco. So it's I guess simply put, like an electric bong for concentrates. So
it looks like a bong in a lava lamp mated.
Had a fucked up baby.
Yeah, it does look like that. It does.
And so we're just getting off a little slower today because I just ripped that, and I'm not a big weed guy, so it's
that was
hitting my head right now.
That was, you said live.
Yeah, that was shit. The jar's over there, away from the mic, but it's some live resin from a dispensary in Colorado.
Nice.
And I just smoked 2 blunts to my face before I came in here, so needless to say, I'm on one, and I feel like I just ate a beach towel. Get that cotton mouth.
Get the cotton mouth.
That's why I got the waters.
Yeah. So you work for a company, ETS. Tell me a little bit, just, I don't know, before, just to, let's hear the background story of how you even got into, talk a little bit about what you do over at ETS, and then maybe just get into the background of like how you got involved in like the whole marijuana or cannabis industry.
Yeah, for sure. So ETS is based in Denver, Colorado. I've worked with them pretty much as a started company back in 2012 is when we really founded and started actually selling equipment and taking it like a serious business and doing all that. So ETS stands for ExtractionTek Stainless is the company name. What we do mainly is manufacture as an OEM extraction equipment for the legal cannabis industry. So like all the processing facilities, labs popping up, all over the country, probably find one of our machines there. Like we were talking about a minute ago, that's why I'm out here is the NECAM Boston thing, showing off our equipment and meeting clients, old and new and whatnot. But we do that on the extraction side. I do a side company too called VetCS with my wife and a couple other partners. It's more on the CBD and CBD formulation stuff for horses, dogs, cats, humans. We can get all that, but ETS, kind of how I got into that or met it is, before I started working in the cannabis space, I've always used cannabis. It's been part of my life since I can remember. As a real positive thing, smoking weed and all that to get high, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that too, but for me, like I've had like anxiety, depression shit in the past, and it was a real good tool for me. Like it helped me, deal with that, and
me too,
be a better human being, I guess. And through that, I started getting into kind of the cultivation side more first than anything. So I was like bouncing job to job. I was doing like civil engineering shit, construction jobs, a few months here, a year there, that kind of thing. And was always like interested in the cannabis stuff in the background. And one of my best friends growing up, our brother Corey, back in Denver, his passion is plants, not just cannabis, but like horticulture, everything that has to do with plants. That's his go-to thing, right? That's his world. So I remember back like before Colorado had the, we were in that like gray area of like it's a medical market and the caregiver model and all that. I seen like a plant or two in a closet. Like with Corey, and was just fascinated by it instantly, and just really pulled his brain, learned everything I could from him just on the cultivation side. And as the market kept developing and going on that, there was like one of the earlier grows that was, quote unquote illegal or legal, whatever you want to call it, that gray area medical market in Colorado that they all worked at, and I met some mutual people connections there that I ended up meeting the owner of the company I work for now. So that's kind of the short, high level, quick backstory of how I kind of got into the extraction stuff. But outside of the extraction stuff, I've always been kind of like a scientific or mechanical minded guy. I like wrenching on stuff, building things. So when I met the owner of our company or over at ETS, it was really when he was like finishing up the development of the first system we ever did, this unit called the 1300. It ran 2 pounds an hour, contained a lot of the concerns, and we'll get into like the open blasting stuff and all that and why there's this need for like regulation and doing it safely in a much larger model. But I met him there and was just fascinated. Like as soon as I saw this machine, I was like, what the fuck are you doing with this thing? What is this thing? What does it do? How does it work? And I kind of took a shot, like quit my civil engineering or construction job, whatever I was doing, and just like learned everything I could from this guy, and kept going with the company, like kind of since when it founded, and I'm still there, still here, and we've grown a lot since then. It's been a real cool ride. Yeah.
So for people that might not know, like myself, what's the extraction stuff? Like what are you guys building? Like what's the machine that you're building or machines that you're building, and what are they used for? Yeah. So
with the extraction equipment, if you go to the dispensary, if you live in a rec space, go by flower or any of the concentrates. Anything you see on the shelf concentrates wise are extraction related products. So what we do mainly at ETS for the last few years until recently is hydrocarbon extraction. So those are your butane, isobutane, propane extractions of plant material, and from that we can develop all these different products. So if you go to the dispensary and see 1 gram jars of wax, crumble, shatter, live resin, diamond, sauce, a lot of different names the industry creates for this shit. Most of that is all developed through hydrocarbon extraction specifically. And then when you look more at things like distillate or the CBD side of the world, a lot of that's done through ethanol extraction. Because you can do less product SKUs, but a lot higher throughput. So if you see big CBD farms, hemp farms, or places just doing distillate, you'll see ethanol extraction pretty prominent in that side because it's all going to a distillation process. We're not making these like finite, nice, beautiful products. It's all going to shit that goes into edibles or cartridges and shit like that. Yeah.
Okay. That's right. So, like, I always say it's like, and I think we even talked about this before off mic over the last couple of days or whatever. Like, you guys are in the smart business because you're not getting into like growing the weed or processing the weed or selling the weed. You're selling this in the gold rush. You're selling the shovels to the people that that are trying to make the money on the green gold. You know what I mean? And along the way, everyone's gonna buy the shovel, whether they fucking strike it rich with the gold or not. And but so like so you make both the butane based extraction stuff and the ethanol based extraction stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So we manufacture the hydrocarbon systems. It could be butane, isobutane, propane, any ratio of those three instrument grade solvents, and then we also manufacture the ethanol systems too.
Yeah,
for the other stuff. But you hit the nail on the head with that. Is we're real fortunate with what we do, I feel like, because obviously mad love, mad respect to all the cultivators. We couldn't do what we do without them.
Yeah, of course.
But your point's absolutely correct. Is like we don't really touch the plant at all. We're like a OEM. We're a welding, fabrication, engineering, R&D shop. We don't grow any plants, sell any plant. We create the equipment. The people that do can run their flower through our systems to create these products. So,
but you're not just some guy that's like getting rich off of or making money off a weed product. You enjoy the products that you're producing at the end of the day yourself. It's not like corporate. You know what I mean? You're an actual participant. You're part of it. Yeah.
It's not culture vulture shit. It's like it's homegrown industry that like probably the dude that saw a need for that. And it's way better. He saw a need probably because he's involved in that industry and in that world, and
that's cool.
And then you get guys that are passionate about it. Like it's not just like some culture vulture shit. Like come in like see an emerging industry and profiteer off it.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's how I feel about it too. Like that sounds probably hella corny and shit, but cannabis for me.
I mean, a lot of what you said was above my head on this shit right now, and it shows like whatever. But
like in a general, like cannabis for me, like just helping, like as a consumer of it, like how it's changed my life. But also, I get to work within it and have met all these other great people all across the U.S. and some other countries now through all this extraction or cannabis stuff.
Those extracts that you're making it possible to make in large bulk, those are things that really help people with pain, stuff like that. I know the concentrates are used for medical purposes all the time, and that's huge, important,
Yeah, absolutely. And there's like those two sides of the whole industry too. You got like companies that really just focus on like like the rec side, people going to dispensaries, just getting their flower, their concentrates, whatnot. But there is a lot of cool stuff on the medical end too. Like more like formulated, like distillate, that kind of product, for accurate dosing. And
I was gonna say your products must be good for people who wanted, because there's a whole area of emerging like research on specifically for medicinal uses, but for I'm sure in other areas as well. But for someone who's concerned with getting replicable doses, and you know that it's like a legit the same. You know, that shit's important. You know, even for when you're developing products, because we all know like how it used to be. Like, you know, your friends or your friend's wife made a tray of fucking things or whatever. Yeah. And if you got the one that was in the corner that got all the shit in it.
The right side of the tray was 4 times crazy.
You fucking fooling on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. One guy's like, this shit didn't do nothing. Yeah, the other one's like out in fucking Queer Street.
That's why the concentrates are so much better. You can kind of really measure it down to what it's supposed to be.
But like like the rec ones, but there's, you know, even tighter ways to get that. You know? But again, too, just to rehash or go back like one step is all that's absolutely true, you know, but like we ETF, we just do the equipment manufacturing, right? So like the Point Truth product, like we're basically like we're providing the pickaxes to the miners,
right? You're making it possible.
How the miners mine the gold is their own.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
But like as things become more legit, it's more important that the dosing's correct and that, you know, and legit and people can be confident in that. Like, but now the stuff you're selling is like super large scale, right? It's not like it's not something a hobbyist would buy, right? It's more like.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really a hobbyist level stuff. It's not something you could do in your house safely at all. It's a industrial process, really tailored to, you know, like licensed facilities, cannabis facilities with extraction labs to get all their product development and all that going.
Man. Plus, that's like waste not, want not too, right? Like some of the stuff that you use for extraction, right, is the stuff that doesn't go in the bags for flowers for sale, right? Like it's.
Well, yeah, like if you looked at the facility, like you could think of like cannabis extraction, like really a cannabis facility doing any kind of scale, like most kind of assembly line style businesses, right? Like everything starts in cultivation regardless, no matter what's happening in extraction. You can't extract shit if there's
nothing to extract it from.
Biomass, right? Yeah. So
biomass.
Weed.
Yeah, I get it. I know.
But you know, when
I think that thing just hit me. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, the Puffco, yeah. But like it all starts there, right? And like out of the cultivation, two main things are going to happen, right? That material is going to be harvested at the end of its life cycle, hung up, cured, dried, and it's going to go out as sellable flower. Yeah, like nothing to do with extraction, just flower. But all the trim from those buds, and even probably a lot of the flower too, or like the smaller larvae kind of popcorn buds, they're all going to go to extraction and make, you know, your like wax, crumbles, shatters, crude for distillate, all those kind of products. Yeah. You know, something that's pretty popular now too is another method people refer to as live resin extraction, right? Or fresh frozen, kind of almost interchangeable terms. But all that is same process, but instead of, you know, harvesting all the cultivation right at the end of its life cycle, then going through all of the drying and the curing and that whole process. Same thing, but when the plants are cut down from the cultivation, they don't cure at all. They don't dry. They don't get hung up. Or they're not even. They get like defanned. Like all the big fan leaves are taken off.
They just cut all the big fan leaves.
Yeah, and then they go into, you know, like some real low temp freezers. Preserves a lot of the terpenes, which are aromatic compounds in cannabis. You give different strains. They're a lot to do with effect, but like taste mainly. You know, and you know, with that, it's another challenge with processing because when we have to do like moisture remediation and get our weights right, because dry material is a lot lighter than wet material, because shit you're going to extract fresh frozen or live resin, it's going to be like 60 to 80% water in the plant still. Frozen, to be fair. That's what a lot of more of the you know, live resin products or like that product sauce that's real popular. I don't know if that's a thing out here in the shops yet, but like THCA crystals with like a big terpene, more kind of liquidy layer in them. That's all really developed from the fresh frozen side. A lot of the other products are from the dry side, but it's just fascinating to me every day. I learn something about it every single day. You know, like it's just ever evolving and changing.
Yeah, man.
And figure out new stuff too, and things evolve.
Yeah. But like you said, you're in the industry and you're here doing a convention. What was the raddest new shit you saw over at the convention?
Honestly, I didn't even really walk the floor.
You had to work.
You know, because it's the same thing, but like it's a lot of the same vendors I see like at every convention. You know, and not to toot our own horn, but we're usually like the guys developing like newer shit or something like that. I did see a couple cool things, like a lot of old faces and shit that, you know, because we'll work with some other vendors on if somebody needs a recommendation for like a cultivation company or architectural firm or like all the stuff that goes into, you know, building a lab. You know, it's no real different than any other business. You start doing anything, like you got to find a building, you got to go through permitting and, you know, go through all the hoops. It's just, you know.
So it's even down to industry now where there's like architects that specialize in weed processing facilities.
Architects that specialize in labs and cultivation. You know, regulatory compliance is huge because it's weed, and this is a pretty common theme, like in all legal markets, no matter what state you're in, is they regulate the shit out of anything that has to do with cannabis. Not just like for the consumer, the end user, but the labs, the cultivations.
Massachusetts, you know, is something
like,
else.
You go to like a pharmaceutical manufacturing lab from Pfizer, and like they're probably like, oh yeah, you guys are good, do whatever you're doing. But you know, if you do anything with cannabis, you got to pay the extra taxes and the fees and like the fire marshal's up your ass fucking, you know, 2 times a week or something. It's it could be tough with that, but I mean, it's come so far, and I think a lot of the states are picking up on it because they build their own tax models too.
Well, you know, that was the crazy thing, because we heard about like when, and you know, you can speak to this better, but I just remember when once things went full legal in Colorado, the state generated so much money that, did you guys really get like tax rebate checks from the state? Like,
you know, I don't know if that's what was said on the news, because I definitely did not get
like
shit.
No, that's what they said. That's what they were saying. They were saying every resident got a refund.
That's
check.
not what they did. I can't remember what year it was, but when they hit the rec thing, I can't remember the period of time. Could have been a year, but it was like $96 or $98 million in like tax just from.
And that's the only reason Massachusetts made it legal. Once they heard that they could tax the shit out of it, that was the first. They're like, oh, Colorado
then you saw,
so
like,
much money.
They're adding like a whole lane to C470, like a highway, or like rebuilding roads and schools and shit. So I think a lot of the money's actually going to good purposes. That tax revenue to build the city up. I'm sure you know a good chunk of it.
Well, the other money's already spent lining everybody's pockets. So.
I was gonna say, I don't think in Massachusetts it'll be as used benevolently, and I mean, and if it has been, I haven't seen it. Like, you know, because obviously, it's funny because like, you know, like people get, like, you have a credit card, right? And you want to see the charges, or like, say you have a family credit card, you want to be able to see the charges and where things are, right? Taxpayers are the only one where it's like, we just give a fucking
blindly
30 to 50% of our income to the government and just hope that it's going to go to right places. You got no say in where it goes. You got no, there's no, you can't see the records and be like, hey, where'd my money go? Like, you know, what did it go to? You don't. And we just blindly just accept that now and whatever. I'm not trying to get over there.
Yeah, but it's come a long way in Massachusetts all the same. Like, I didn't know if I'd ever see it in my lifetime. Come to a point where it's legal. Now we just got to work on making it where you can smoke certain places now. You know, you can fall down drunk at a bar, but God forbid you light any kind of weed up, and you know what I mean? And it's like, it's not the same. It really fucking isn't, you know what I mean? And people look at it like, they're like, oh, it's like, you know, we'll treat it like it's alcohol, but it's not. It's a lot safer, it's a lot better for you and stuff. So that shit's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But Colorado, like, when you're walking around and you could like smoke, when you're downtown or whatever, you could walk around and smoke. It's not like drinking a beer in public, right? I don't know. Maybe that's legal.
And honestly, I'm not even up to date on like whatever the current like actual laws are.
Well, yeah, but they don't bother.
I could tell you, like, if you're walking around in Denver, like smoking a joint, like walking down the street, you're probably not going to get bothered. Right, and even if you do, I mean, they might like put it out and leave you alone. Like, it's not even worth their time to try to write the ticket. Not 100% sure, but like I've smoked on the patio at the bar. I think it's more up to the bar's discretion. But if you're not causing any problems, trying to hurt anybody, you know, you're just chilling. It's the same thing as like somebody smoking a cigarette on the patio at a bar. You know? Well, and I think there might actually be like some legal shit or updating with that, or did. Again, I'm not up to them, but it's pretty. You know, you'll see it walking around Colorado for sure. Denver.
I saw a thing in the news that they were saying in New York they were having some fair, and at the fair they were going to make a section for smoking weed because they just decriminalized it and made it so you could have it for recreational. And someone was saying, "Oh, that's what they need to do in Massachusetts." But you know, it's true. They gotta take into consideration the people that are using it for medical reasons gotta take their medicine at certain times. You know what I mean? You gotta have a place where they can't be bothered. And
But if it's outdoors, it shouldn't matter anyway.
You know what trips me out too is sorry to interrupt you, but
no.
On that note, Dan, up in like we got some business up in Canada, so I've been up there a bunch over the last few years, and in BC when you fly into Vancouver, like Canada federally legalized everything.
I saw that. So that's
it tripped me out the first time I saw it. But you fly into Vancouver Airport, and like you go look for the smoking lounge. You know, there's a tobacco smoking lounge and a cannabis smoking lounge.
That's the fucking way it should be. Canada seems to have it figured out. Why can't these people just get it figured out here like that? Just go off to Canada's model. You know.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
simple.
It'll work here, but it's just going to be like, it's like you said, there's going to be a tax grab to it. Like they got to figure out how to make the most money off it before things will happen. The good thing though was with states like Massachusetts and other states where it's become decriminalized or legal. Well, decriminalized, recreational or whatever, but and medical. That there can be more research done with it now. You know what I mean? Because like the problem is, it's hard to do large scale studies with substances like cannabis because it's still federally put as a class 1 substance, right? And so it's hard.
It's right up there with like crack and heroin.
Yeah, exactly. It's
crazy shit,
which is insane.
Retarded, yeah. But it's like as more and more states decriminalize it, like I think in that state, you could probably do more research, like on, and then continue to show benefits of these plant-based medicines. You know what I mean?
Did your company deal with Canada? Did you send stuff up there? And
we've got some labs who work up there, like provide all the equipment and extraction and all that kind of stuff. Which is great. That's cool. It was a cool experience being able to go up there and kind of see how it's done on that side. The one big thing Canada fucked up is like you got these massive like publicly traded companies up there, right? Like the Auroras and the Canopy Growths and the Tilrays and whatnot, and massive like hundreds of millions, billions of dollars put into some of these facilities up there. Made these beautiful cultivations, giant extraction operations, and there's a bunch of them. But you look at Canada, I think there's more people in Southern California than the entire country of Canada.
Oh, it's sparse.
So like, where are they going to sell all this fucking weed to? Like, there's not the base,
So they flooded everything.
Yeah, so there's not that many people. Then you also look like at like where all the people are, right? You got Toronto.
So weed's probably cheap as fuck in Canada then, right? Because
I'd assume so now. I'm not sure, but like they have all these massive companies doing these giant, projects, but there's not enough people there, and even within those people, that's like a percentage of how many of them are even gonna go buy something.
Yeah. That's crazy. No, when you said Canada made everything legal, you mean just cannabis related, right? Or did they do it with all drugs?
As far as it's just cannabis related, what I'm talking about. But the other benefit they do have from that, and they kind of got on the forefront of the model, is they stopped looking at like just their own country. Like they're going to be able to do like GMP, C and GMP export to other countries. Which are some of that already happening, but that's
that's what you're saying, right? They're already sending a bunch to Germany or some shit.
Yeah, so that's going to be like the next big thing coming up with that.
Export, import.
I mean, it's the whole industry in general. There's a lot of like M&A consolidation, kind of activity going on right now. Not just in our niche on the extraction side, but like the big U.S. companies, the big Canada companies. Things are acquiring other things, and getting dialed in for. I think what's coming in the future. Like people just keep getting more comfortable at regulatory agencies. Government people, and now Chuck Schumer's, bill is up to just federally legalize everything, which is, I mean, we could probably spend a whole episode just on that. Everyone's like happy about it, but there's some concerns there too, for sure.
What are the pros and cons of legalization?
I guess the pros, it's federally legal. It's even more above board than it is now. The cons are because cannabis and its derivatives are considered Schedule 1 narcotics, whatever it is right now, the FDA has nothing to do with cannabis currently. Like,
they're going to get their dirty fingers in it and fuck it right up.
You know, if the FDA wants to know anything about everything that is sold for a profit and ingested, you know? So if it goes federally legal, what happens? You know, like, is cannabis turn into a supplement? Like, what?
What's it going to be?
But, you know, like the pharmaceutical companies, the FDA, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, they're going to have their fingers in that.
Dirty hands. They
It's
call
funny
it
enough, we
FDA
were talking
the
about
American
R&D
cartel.
and research earlier. The big pharma companies have been doing research on cannabis since like the 60s at least.
Yeah.
The U.S. government holds more patents on cannabis-related shit than anyone.
No kidding.
So
That's amazing.
like they've already been priming the pump, and you know, it should be interesting. But again, we're doing the pickaxes to the miners. So
Yeah.
We're hoping we can ride the wave and see what happens with all that.
But you know, but all this other stuff's kind of important because everyone's like, yeah, man, it's gonna be federally legal, it's gonna be awesome, and then it's like, well, no, because now the government's gonna get involved in it, and I guarantee that they're gonna make it like find a way to make shit shitty. You know what I mean? And fuck it all up, because I don't care what anyone says. Show me an example where the federal government does something effectively, efficiently, and diligently, and
I can't.
And I'll shut up, but until you show me that, I ain't ever stopping saying that, man.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Like, it's a cool thought, you know, but people get stuck on that. It's like, oh, well, hold up, like read the fine print. What does this really mean? You know?
No, and that's important, man. And I think like having you on is good because to shed light on things like that, but also like what we were talking about is like, because this is so new and such an emergent thing, companies are coming out of nowhere and like all of a sudden like putting shit out, and it's not super regulated, so you don't know if it's like good shit or not. Like, you know, we were talking about that with CBD, like in like how now there's like fucking, you go to any fucking corner gas station, and there'll be like 10 different CBDs, and you know they're probably all bullshit. But like, you know, what are the things people should look out for with, you know, any kind of cannabis or CBD product? And like are there ways to tell, you know, if something's bullshit or if something's like legit, or like, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you don't want to be smoking fertilizer, you know what I mean? Or anything like that, you know, or taking a tincture of it, you know?
That's a great point. And it really splits down to two main sides. Is like when we look at the regulated market, and by that I mean like all the people doing THC cultivations, like all the dispensaries here, the dispensaries anywhere, those are all highly regulated. Mass has their own, you know, law enforcement agency that looks over all that shit, just like Colorado and just any other state doing it. If you're selling anything in a dispensary setting like that, with THC content, it's actually pretty damn regulated. Like not just the flower, but all the concentrates. They have to have residual solvent testing, microbial testing, all these different steps for it to even be allowed to go on a shelf. Every product's got a tag on it that's tracked through a state system. So there's two big software applications. One's called Metric and one's called BioTrack. So Mass, they use Metric, but like any dispensary selling anything, like a gram of flour, an eighth of flour, an ounce of flour, any concentrate, every single thing has its own individual tag. It's tracked the entire system. The state can see anything, come ask you where any lot SKUs are whenever they want to come in.
Wow.
All the way even in the cultivation, every single plant, every clone, every vegging plant, mom plant, all have these metric tags. So they've got that shit like way overkill, like on lot. And those tags can cost like, you know, 20 to 50 cents a piece. So
that's probably why, you know, stuff in the dispensary shit is more expensive, because there's a lot more regulation and a lot more tracking and whatnot.
That's one side of it, but you brought up a good point with the CBD side is a whole different animal.
CBD because it's
isn't on that list. So like CBD can be shipped in the mail. I mean,
and it's not regulated.
It's not regulated. Like CBD grows for like hemp farms and that kind of stuff.
Just to hold before you go, for people that might not know, CBD is just a cannabis derived product, but it has no none of the properties that make you get high in it.
So CBD is a cannabinoid. So cannabis, hence the name, contains cannabinoids, right? So the one everyone knows is Delta 9 THC, or just call it THC, right? But you got CBD, CBG, CBN. There's all these, a whole plethora of cannabinoids and other forms. When it comes to CBD specifically, it's a non-psychoactive cannabinoid, so you don't get high off it, but it has pretty prolific effects on wellness and health that I can't deny. I take it myself, and I'd have a side business doing this for animals, humans, and with great success so far. Which makes you feel good. Like you're helping people at the end of the day with stuff, and helping myself. I take it every day. But
and the animals too. The animals.
Yeah,
the animals.
You got
honestly,
you got a nervous
I care more
dog?
about animals than most human beings.
Me too. On my animal.
I need some for Freya, man. She's a fucking jittery dog.
She is a jittery dog.
But what's I know we're kind of bouncing around a lot now, and I'll try and keep it like
the Puffco got me too, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
The rabbit
no. So so basically, just for people that don't know, CBD stuff is just cannabinoid based, but it doesn't have any of the psychoactive stuff that makes you get high. But it has so many effects, like both like mentally and physically, like because it's like it can help with anxiety, depression, but it also helps with like inflammation. Like I got arthritis in my shoulder from a weightlifting accident. I got my hands are fucked up and whatever. And like you take that, everything does feel better. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'd say agree with all those points, but inflammation specifically, it's one of the strongest anti-inflammatory compounds like we know of from nature. It's amazing. And when you think about like what's inflammatory, like that's what a lot of major diseases are, right? Whether it's like you said, like you're lifting and starting to work out again, it probably helped with that, just like inflammation from that, but anything in between. If you look at cancer, what's cancer? It's cells' ability they lose their ability to control their own growth. It's an inflammatory condition. Good idea. Not to go too far down this rabbit hole, but
it's fine, man. We can go down whatever.
With cannabinoids, period. The human body, we have receptors in all of our major organs, CB1 and CB2. They're only there to absorb and process cannabinoids.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
I could like give you like it kind of makes you trip out a little bit and think about
why are those there?
Out of all the plants
the
on
human
Earth,
body's evolved to build these receptors all over your body. That all they do is receive cannabinoids.
Yeah,
that's it.
All the plants on Earth, and we have something to. I'd love to know where that like came into play, where the first person was like, "Oh, let me try this." This plant. It doesn't look much different than all these other plants, but I think I'm gonna try it. And hopefully it's not poison, and then it helps them.
Yeah. But back to your point, Drew. Sorry, went down that one. But when we look at CBD, it's not nearly as regulated, not even close to the THC side. So, although it definitely has, in my opinion, some for sure medical value, just life value, preventative value for sure. The problem is because it's not so regulated and got so popular so fast that there's a lot of snake oil like bullshit out there with CBD, right? So like if you go on your fucking phone with the Amazon app and type in CBD oil, you'll get like 2,000 pages of results or something, right?
Yeah. Sounds like someone just did.
Well, a lot of it's just like low grade, like middleman to middleman to middleman to middleman. There could be, heavy metals, pesticides.
Jesus Christ.
One dose could be different than another, all over the place wildly. What's important if you're looking for CBD products is, get to know the company. Like if you can't call somebody at the company and actually talk to a human being on the phone, I wouldn't fucking buy it. Or see any kind of like analytical results, on the products. So like
you were saying your company.
So something we do with myself and my wife and our partners in the VetCS thing is we do lot numbers on all of our products. So if somebody buys a product from us, whether it's for them as a human or their dog, their cat, their horse, you type this lot number into our website and it'll show you all of the data about what's in that bottle. Not just the dosing, but the organic seed purchase order from the hemp farm that
Trace it all
CBD
the
was
way
derived
back,
from,
so
the analytical lab results of the extract, the flower, the chain of custody documents, everything.
Wow.
And there's not a lot of companies doing that. Like some are, but I think it's important,
Absolutely,
Because we do it to help people more than anything. It is a business. Don't get me wrong at the end of the day, but it's you have to give people that level of transparency because it's really hard to see between the lines. Like,
yeah, as a consumer of anything,
CBD is good or not. A lot of people just like, however good their marketing is, if the box is flashier than another one, a lot of people just buy shit off that. Especially with CBD, you want to like research the company a little bit, see if you can talk to somebody if you have questions.
So just don't go to the bodega and buy some bullshit off the counter.
Yeah,
that's the takeaway.
If you want to do whatever you want.
It's everywhere out here. Every shitty gas station.
Great results.
No, but just know you could be taking something sketchy in there too. Just like anything, do your research. Don't just buy some shit. But so if you go to a dispensary, because dispensaries sell CBD too, like, can you be more confident in the stuff you see? And I'm not trying to advocate for dispensaries at all. Right. It's like, I don't care. I'm just like, I'm trying to think about the dude listening to this or the lady listening to this that wants to get some shit. And like, how do we know to get people to the right shit? Because we know there's like bunk shit out there.
Yeah, like on the dispensary side, that'd be at least like a huge step up from like getting some shit off Amazon or fucking Alibaba or something like that.
Or Cumberland Farms or like fucking Circle K or something. Yeah.
Or just the fucking random store you see that has like the green fucking CBD here, it's sold here side.
Or like the smoke shop,
Yeah, I'd say the dispensaries, some states are different. Like some states can't sell it in the dispensary because it's not in the tracking system. Because it's not but some states can. So
now,
is that
CBD from the dispensary? Is it? Someone told me this, and I don't know if it's bullshit. They said there's cannabis-derived CBD and there's hemp-derived CBD, and cannabis-derived CBD has different properties. Is that true or is that nonsense?
I think I know where they're going with that, but it's all cannabis. Like there is no marijuana. Like
that's not cannabis.
A made-up word our government created to make it sound bad and like it was from Mexico and shit back in the day. But it's all cannabis.
Right.
Hemp is just a different version of cannabis than the cannabis you'd see growing, flowering, high THC yielding that. With hemp, it's an industrial plant. Like true industrial hemp is very, very low THC.
Yeah.
High CBD, and I mean the Constitution is written on hemp, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
Like hemp has been part of history for a long, long, long time. Like way beyond just using it for CBD like we're doing now. I mean, it's great for textiles, fibers, clothing,
rope,
hempcrete, rope. All these different.
And it grows crazy, right?
Yeah, and like the founders of this country, like the George Washington was huge on hemp. There's a lot of hemp. Where that turned into like cannabis is like hemp is different. I don't know because it's all the same.
Yeah,
you hear stories of paper, tycoons and shit.
Hearst of the newspaper company, that they were the ones that demonized it to so that people would buy paper, tree paper rather than hemp paper.
Yeah, maybe what he was talking about, he's like, true industrial hemp, that people grow more for fiber and all that. But for CBD too, it's still high in CBD. But then you have all these like crossover strains that have been bred and the genetics have been bred and bred and bred to get to the point where they're really, really high CBD.
Yeah.
Way higher THC probably than like an industrial hip strain or anything like that. But there's a lot of crossbreeding and, shit like that going on too. Yeah. So people are like, I have a hemp farm, but there's not much hemp there. It's just like a high ass CBD strain of, it's still like 10, 11% THC. And no one's really coming to check on them because they're not like regulated. Like Department of Agriculture is the only one that has anything to do with hemp right now.
Oh yeah.
As far as I know. And again, I'm not on the cultivation side, more on the extraction side, but you get a license to grow hemp and that's it. Like there's not much other oversight,
Does the CBD that has a THC content in it, does that work better for certain things? Or,
in my opinion, I'd say it would. Like isolated CBD could definitely be used effectively, but there's a thing with cannabis or concentrates that they call the entourage effect, right? So if you're just taking one cannabinoid or one compound, it's not terrible. It's going to do what it probably should do, but there's a lot more effectiveness with a multitude of compounds. So like when you smoke flower, for example, right? Like if we just like rolled a joint right now and smoked it, there's going to be mainly THC in there, right? But you're going to have really trace amounts of CBD, CBG, CBN, all these other cannabinoids. And then even more importantly, all the aromatic compounds, the terpenes, which not only give like different strains their smell and their flavor, their aroma, if you will, but they also have effects, so like different strains make you kind of feel like a different high more because the ratio of the cannabinoids and what terpenes and what ratios are all combined to make this overall effect, as one thing, the entourage effect.
Which is why different strains hit different. Like if you bought like 5 different types of weed, like
because like cannabinoids, if you look at those, like THC is THC. So I could have 4 different strains of weed. The THC is identical chemically in all of those, but how much of it there is combined with what terpenes are in that flower and what ranges though are, all of those coming together for this entourage effect really make the difference obviously on flavor, but also effect, the sativa indica thing, like that has a lot to do with the blends of all those compounds more than anything. Yeah. And none of it's new. I mean, terpenes are a huge diversified class of compounds in nature. So like if you've ever like been up to a pine tree and got like sap off the pine tree and smelled it, there's a terpene called pinene. It smells like pine trees. Limonene, that's like citrusy, like lemons, oranges, that kind of thing. And it just keeps going and going. It's a huge range, but that has more to do with it than anything. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, man. So don't buy CBD at the corner store.
You're wasting your time.
No, but
you want the shit that you can see where it came from.
But it's just cool to know that there's so much fucking shit that goes into all this, or been thought about and been fucked around with for a long time. Which is why your 70s dirt weed was like whatever compared to like the shit now. Like
you get
2 fucking hits off that fucking
get the
Hubba Bubba, whatever the fucking that thing is called. Fucking
Puffco.
Put you in fucking
La La Land. I was seeing little flashes of light with that last hit that I took. I think I forced it. I hit it twice in a row, and next thing you know, I'm seeing all fucking Tweety birds.
Yeah. But so that's the thing. That's what's crazy though is that like when you see now, like a lot of people just focusing on fancy packaging and craziness, like with that
out here,
and flashy stuff, and it's like it's not like you can look on the back and see what's actually in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, but like if you see some things like with like those trackings and stuff,
it gives you the peace of mind that you want.
Probably a little more effort put into making sure it's a quality situation.
Absolutely. And again, too, like on the like regulated side, if you go and buy something from a dispensary in mass, like they have to have a label on there that shows like what percentage THC and all that. Yeah. If it's come from a dispensary, it's been vetted. It doesn't mean it's going to be good, but
but it's been vetted. It's
gone through some stage
somewhat clean,
of quality control or something. The CBD shit's where you got to be careful because it's not anywhere near. There is no real regulation, right? So probably don't buy it from the gas station. I don't want to tell you, but do whatever you want.
But just
like
be more
vet
leery.
the company, like know what
that.
you're getting from who and like how they manufacture the product, because that's a real deep extraction process, and you want to make sure you're getting something that's not just churned out. It's shipped over here from China by the ship, and it's just wound up in this gas station. Who
Pesticides in it,
some kind of mold or something.
Heavy metals, pesticides, microbial.
Gross.
What's the horse stuff for? Like I understand, like I've seen stuff for dogs and cats before, but I didn't know there was a special CBD. Stuff, right? No, I didn't know there was a special CBD for horses. Is it? Yeah, I guess probably inflammation shit or whatever.
Yeah, inflammation and other things too. And I'll answer that as best as I can because I'm not the expert there. But I think we might be one of 2 companies doing that. Like period right now. But kind of the story behind that is my wife Trish back home. She's a veterinary technician, right? Or was. That was what she did for like, I don't know, 10, 12 years, something like that. And she's been a cannabis consumer, enjoyer the whole time we've been together. And as the company started growing, like me working with ExtractionTek and all that, she started talking about doing something CBD based for horses or equine purposes. Our other partner in that company is her old colleague, this Chelsea Lukey, and she's a doctor veterinary medicine. So we really like sat down with her as like, what benefits could we do with this? And they developed a bunch of products, did multiple white papers with CSU, Colorado State University. Johns Hopkins was doing something they were tied in with, and like really doing it out of like, as a kind of a side project. We didn't think it was going to take off, you know?
Yeah.
But it did. And once the horse thing started taking off, we're like, well, let's keep growing the company. So we started doing dogs, cats, and people, you know, because those are way bigger markets than horses are, you know. Like you've got like some high-end race horses and like just people at the barns, or they go out to vet clinics and do like, you know, demonstrations and teach people about CBD and efficacy in horses and all that kind of stuff. But they've been doing a real good job on it. I just kind of help them get the ball rolling off that and figure out all the extraction and formulation. But that's about as much as I could talk to about like the science with horses. And
that's
I just didn't know like so what's like the difference though, like because obviously, you know, a horse is fucking 10 times the size of a cat or something, you know. And so is it just like the dosing? Is that what's
like
different?
Delivery method and dosing are the two biggest differences. You know, because we look at humans, we're talking 150 to 300 pounds, pretty standard range. Horses, 4 times that at least. You know? And then you look at dogs and cats, and you're like on the smaller side.
Sure,
you know?
I'm like, you know, if you take like I take the little dropper of the tincture at night to go to sleep.
Yeah, well, like
with a horse, like when you gonna put like just like a 2-liter bottle.
Yeah, so some of it's formulated stuff that actually gets mixed in with their grain, so they eat it. There's paste syringes for like transdermal, like gum applications.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're doing all kinds of cool shit over there. But I'm just super happy to be a part of it. I don't know really any of the animal side of the science and all that. But my wife, her partner, are just loving it, killing it.
But partnering with like, you know, real academic institutions on some of this, like John Hopkins is no joke, CSU no joke, you know what I mean? Has there been a lot more research going on in Colorado since it's become legalized with like the universities and whatnot, or as far as you guys know about? Or I know that's just kind of a random question. Like,
no, it's a great question. There's been a few, but I think it's even more like broad than that. There is a lot of academia research studies on cannabis or things being revisited because you know they can see everything growing. But there have been studies. I mean, going back years and years. But it definitely is like a growing thing now, and even internationally.
You just hear about the horror stories of people trying to do studies in the past. Like it wasn't it wasn't like zero. Like it definitely got done. It's just way harder. I guess like there's a lot of loopholes.
Well, and
you can only get it from one government facility that harvests their own cannabis, you know, whatever products.
And the ones that could get it done back then, just like you said, like they had to really get some special, you know, like government, you know, you can do this piece of paper kind of bullshit. You know,
and not only that, but you had to buy the marijuana from the government. They had one grow facility or whatever that would supply all the medical testing.
Get down or lay down. You got to buy you got to get their weed.
But
that's cartel
in that
shit.
light, there has been a lot more research for sure. Just because like some of the analytical labs, research facilities, even academia is more open to doing it. Because they didn't want to in the past, especially the colleges, because you know they all get federal funding. So like, oh, we're doing a THC study. You know, like, oh, your federal funding's gone.
Exactly. It just seems like now that more and more states have taken some actions, whether to decriminalize it medically or recreationally, it seems like a lot of the stigma has lessened. You know, there's no more. What was that movie?
Pineapple Express.
No. The one in the 30s era, 40s. That was like the big one. Like that. Like
Reefer Madness.
Reefer Madness.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna chop somebody up with an axe and jump out of your window. If you smoke weed.
But a lot of that seemed to have been like the stigma is kind of lessened, even with people that aren't, you know, like smokers or partakers themselves. Like,
well, the funny thing, I agree. Like the industry getting more streamlined and like publicly traded company, like it's being treated more like a business on that side. But even just the normal perception of it has definitely got a lot less, you know, praise. Like even 10 years ago, people still like. I probably wouldn't go smoke a joint outside. I'd be like, someone's going to freak out. Or
you come in a place smelling like weed, you get shunned. Now everybody's like, oh, you smell good.
Yeah,
you know? I get that at least once a day.
I think it's like people in general are more, on the same level with what it actually is now.
People just need to lighten the fuck up.
Obviously, like all the states are, because they can make all that tax money off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. They like it.
Which I think that's really all the governments probably care about. But it's creating a whole industry, jobs for people. Me being one of them. Like I feel so fortunate to be able to doing it. Like I get to do something I'm actually interested in every day and feed my family off it legally, like in the light of day.
Living the dream, the weed dream.
But that's awesome. How long has it been in Colorado now, decriminalized? Like full recreational?
I should probably know the answer to this, but I think it was like 2007, 2008 is when they did like the medical model, the caregiver model, and then rec was a few years behind that, and that's when it really just started taking off. Yeah,
somewhere between like 7 and 10 years, roughly.
Ish.
Yeah. But like, anything else going on in the state with that? Like, I'm just curious because like Massachusetts is like, it's been what, like a year or two?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. So like, it's just like, like the evolution of what happens. Like, is it just like something that's not even like novel or thought about anymore? It's just part of life, part of the culture now, or is it like?
Well, in Colorado, sure. I mean, like that's part of like the tourist industry there now too.
Plus, you had an influx of people move and crazy, made the real estate market crazy when it went when you were the first ones to go full rec.
I think cannabis had a lot to do with that, honestly, too. But I mean,
good
like
for
the
tourism,
tech industry, oil and gas. There's a bunch of other shit booming out there, but the cannabis thing definitely like has a huge impact on that.
Sure, because even not even just with recreational users, but as an industry in a whole, because like now, like if you're going to move your company there, you know what I mean, someplace where you can operate, you know what I mean? Like, are you guys still having like, I know out here, a lot of people that are trying to do stuff in that industry, one of the problems still seems to be like with banking, and not all the banks will do business with cannabis type operations.
Yeah, the banking thing has always been a bitch. I mean, it's been a big challenge because, I mean, even us, and like we were talking earlier, we don't touch the plant at all.
Yeah, you're just selling equipment,
Yeah, so like we banked with one of the bigger national banks starting, and we only do the equipment shit. And they figured out like what
the equipment was used for.
Yeah, they have like algorithms scanning your fucking Instagrams and social media shit.
That's
and
insane,
we got a letter from them like, we saw weed on your Instagram, and now we're an MRB, marijuana related business. And
they charge
the rates went up, and then they just got rid of the account. But we got a local bank that's really cool, works with a lot of businesses, processors, and all that now. It was definitely way worse a couple years back. There are some like credit unions and even some like national chain banks that will do cannabis related accounts in Colorado specifically. But I think it's getting even better and easier because now there's all these, IPOs or already publicly traded companies that are cannabis companies. So, and they can see the legalization shit happening. I honestly don't know where it stands today, but I would assume like the banking is a little easier. It's probably still a pain in the ass, but I'd imagine you can actually like make it feasible or like work with a company that specializes in like finance and that kind of shit.
Because I heard that there was people for a little while, like if you made your own private vault, you could make good money with the cannabis industry people at first. So
it was crazy in Colorado is before the banks will let you do anything, people will come and pay in cash because that's all you can do.
All you could do,
and then they have to take the cash and deposit it, so they get a penalty for paying that much in cash. And then when they go to pay their taxes at the end of the year, they have to drive down to the IRS building and pay it in cash. And then they get penalized again for paying the taxes in cash.
That's ridiculous.
They won't let them use the banks. It's just like, I think it's got better now, but that's like, there's all kinds of rackets, Like
I know. It's fucking bananas, dude. What, speaking of all like IPOs and whatnot, there's so many, because we were joking about this yesterday. I was like, High Times hits me up every day to try and buy stock in their company. Like, and I was just laughing. I'm like, come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no disrespect to High Times, but it's like they hit me like the same way you get hit with like fucking, you know, all like the spam marketing on
The extended warranties.
Yeah, you guys get the phone calls like, your car insurance is expired.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? It's so weird. But like, you know, and you may or may not be able to answer this, but if people were interested in starting to like kind of invest in the marijuana industry, because it is, let's face it, like a upcoming and potentially huge growth. There's opportunities for huge growth in that, like especially if it goes federally legal, like right, it could be fucking bananas. But like, what should people look at if they're looking? Because I know it's something I'm interested in. You know what I mean? Like what's like, you know, something you should look at with all these emerging companies, like that would make someone like a worthwhile type investment. You know what I mean? Versus like there might be a lot of like crazy, just like, you know, with the CBD, what's like a good solid one versus like what's just some like crazy shit that's just trying to profiteer. Like how can you see like what would be good? You know what I mean, for like investment type stuff.
Yeah, it kind of splits into two parts, right? Like you've got all the Canadian companies, which we can invest in, you know, but that might be like a whole nother episode. But if we're looking at the U.S., where a lot of like M&A, merger acquisition activity, consolidation, all that kind of shit's happening now. No matter what you look at, the first thing is you want to be looking at the MSOs, the multi-state operators, right? Because those are going to be the really bigger publicly traded companies that are going to get bought out eventually or acquire other stuff.
Yeah.
And just keep growing their network essentially. So some ones I could think of off the top of my head. And again, I'm not an investment.
Don't take this as advice.
Keep an eye on
don't put the kids' college fund on.
Just like some of the big multi-state operators, just to keep an eye on, you know, because the stocks are all pretty cheap on them, all of those right now too. But the ones off the top of my head I could think of would be Cresco Labs, GTI, which is Green Thumb Industries, Acreage Holdings, and Harvest. I mean, those would be like the top four I could think of. Just keep an eyeball out or check them out, you know. But those are all really big, publicly traded, multi-state operators that have, you know, multiple cultivations, labs, facilities, a lot of employees. They're it's kind of weird to say, but they're weed corporations, you know.
But it's only going to get more corporate, like as it expands, you know, what I mean? Or as it becomes more legalized or in more states and people are allowed to operate, you know, in more areas.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the problem is like, you know, you get fucking some douchebags like Pfizer come in and stop buying shit up and fucking and then
Marlboro. Somebody said, "Oh, before you know it, the big tobacco companies are going to be all the big like cannabis companies."
Probably, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
well, the tobacco companies have been doing like cannabis research for a long time.
Yeah. Well, you know, like,
trying to think.
Then the problem is they're going to be. You're gonna buy like prepackaged joints that have been dipped in 600 something fucking chemicals.
Yeah, the flame retardant stuff that they put on there that just kills you that much quicker.
What's the big Philip Morris?
Philip Morris,
yeah. That's the thing is like, it's like even if you want to, that's the problem, right? You invest in some of these companies because you believe what they're doing, and then if they get bought out and now they're part of like the bigger fucking, you know, the companies you don't want to invest in, you know.
Yeah, it seems like that's where the wave is going to crash. You know, it's going that way. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more corporatized. And
what do you and maybe you have kind of like what's the gist in the world of the industry that like what's the timeline that you think before it really would get more, you know, to that level where it's federal legal or, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, I think about that every day.
Yeah.
My guess, this is how crazy the time range could be because like there's so many factors.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
1 year at the absolute fastest to 10.
Yeah.
Like
somewhere in the next decade.
Well, like so many different things are at play, and like just it being bigger now, and there's actual like money invested from real, you know, capital firms, and these big public companies exist. Chuck Schumer's bill and all that. Sorry about that. All that is just, you know, it's all becoming a melting pot that's really hard to forecast what it's going to be, but I feel like it's definitely going that way. But, you know, when it's going to happen.
Who knows?
Yeah, could be a year, could be 10.
It almost seems like this gray area is kind of a good thing for the average.
I feel like it's always
person.
been that. Like the whole cannabis thing has just been this massive fucking gray area.
We should just leave it the way it is and don't let these fucking FDA and the Philip Morris and all that get involved on that level. That seems like it would be a terrible thing, you know?
Well, you know, and that's all, but that's the gamble with capitalism, right? Like, you know, like you might have a company that started out and they started grassroots and they, you know, and then have a mission statement and, you know, or whatever, like to kind of stay their own way. And then they get big and bigger and bigger. And then someone makes an offer they can't refuse, you know, who knows, you know, that's the thing. Some people will say no to it. Some people and keep their own thing independent. And some people will sell. That's the way it goes, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Fucking, shit, man. I had other stuff I wanted to ask you too.
But then you got high.
Then I got high. I keep looking at that thing, dude. It's like, it looks like
saying smoke me, troop.
It looks like, literally. Dude, you gotta put that shit on silent, bro.
Sorry, this is. I just got the new phone and I'm not smart enough to figure out how to put it on silent.
Oh man,
it's usually a thing. Is it an iPhone?
No, it's Android.
I'm making sure. Just making sure mine's on silent too now.
Yeah, it goes off a minute later.
What's your favorite? I don't know, method of ingestion or cannabis product that you like? You just, some people I see are just into flower. Some people only want to fuck with like the weird shit like wax or dabs or fucking stuff like that. Where you at?
Yeah, for me, I like flower. Always have like but the funny part is, you think I'd like be way into like, you know,
the technology,
like
the weird
concentrates and like the shit we have here at the hotel room, you know. But which I'll do time to time. But yeah, smoking flower or a lot of times at home, you know, because I got young kids in the house and shit, and I eat a lot of edibles just because it's easy.
Convenience.
We got some great edibles out in Denver, so you know.
Truth likes the edibles too.
Dude,
I think you were talking about some kind of edible story earlier too.
No,
you could definitely pass the barrier from smoking with edibles.
You could catch a bad one real fast.
Well, I say edibles. Funny enough, you know, or smoking flower. The concentrate's more like you know, at the office sometimes, or like when we're out on trade shows and whatnot, because you know, like it's like a whole thing you got to have, and it's hard to do in the house with like kids and shit running around, you know.
So when you say concentrate, you mean like vape cartridges, things like that, or
anything like that? Yeah,
or
well,
like
the vape cartridges, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I could do that pretty easy in the house, but I've never been a huge fan of those, honestly.
Yeah, me neither. Not my thing.
Edibles, flower, and then, you know, this occasionally, but edibles for sure, just they're easy. Yeah.
So, and what I read, because I had to look into this, because I react really weird with edibles, like I just can't do it. Like it fucks with me. Like I get like full psychedelic like fucking trip with it.
Probably eating too much edible.
What's that?
You're probably eating too much edible.
Well, so because I got fuckos like him and fucking stress that like give me edibles and
it's only 500 milligrams.
Yeah. Stress gave me these capsules once where because he like boiled down like the THC into some kind of whatever,
some kind of extraction,
whatever he did, and put them in pills. And it was like, we were in New York, we were at the Bowl, and he's like, yeah, just take like 5 of them. He's like, I take 5. And I'm like, all right, stress.
Yeah.
Significantly smaller than me. I'm like, I should be able to handle 5. Dude, I was like literally in the bar across the street from fucking from the Bowl and literally hallucinating that I was a stick of butter melting into the floor. Like KO had to sit next to me like bodyguard me, and I was gone for like 4 hours, and I came out of it, and it was like coming out of a tunnel. It was like, whoosh, and I looked at KO, and he's like, "Oh, you're back. All right, let's go." And then we went back over.
Welcome back.
It was fucking crazy, man.
That was really a lot. Yeah, like a funny thing about that is when like rec hit in Denver and all that, you know, like there weren't really any rules about edible. Like you could have like 100, 200, 300 milligram cookie or gummy, whatever the fuck it was, and you know, the tourists started coming out to like check out the fucking weed thing and buy weed and all that. And they come by 100 milligram, 200 milligram edibles and just fucking eat the whole thing, and then just like call the fucking 911, like they get dying and like having some fucking like their heart stop or can't breathe or something, which is all But,
well, dude,
they put a law in, so now in Colorado, like you could go buy an edible still, but it's capped at 100 milligrams. So any edible, if you buy like a jar of gummies or a one cookie, whatever it is, it can't be more than 100 milligrams.
Okay.
And it can only be in 10 milligram pieces.
Increments,
So, if I had like a jar of gummies, there can be 10 milligram gummies or one cookie cut into 10 pieces.
Yeah.
Because that was such a fucking problem. Because with edible, you could fucking go way past smoking weed.
Plus the other thing with edibles, they're all in like delicious desserts. Like, like who doesn't want? Who's only gonna eat one gummy bear? Like you're gonna be like, oh, give me some more.
A few times at my house, I'm like, shit, we ain't got nothing to eat. Oh, I got these fucking edibles, and I'm eating them purely just to have a fucking snack. Next thing you know, I'm drooling on myself.
It makes you more hungry too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like drinking salt water.
How big was that one you gave me at the airport?
I don't remember, but dude, I'm sitting over there. There's two mice. We're in the international part in the airport in Boston. Yeah. There's two mice running around. I'm like, Truth, look at the fucking mice, and I'm filming them. And I look over, and Truth looks like a bed sheet with two burn holes in it. He was pale white, and I was like, "You all right, bro?" And he's like, "Yo, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get on this plane. I'm fucked up right now." And I was like, "Oh shit."
So it's crazy. He gives me this one. He's like, yeah, because I was like, fuck, I hate flying, man. Like,
we're going to
tired.
Mexico
I can
City,
never sleep. And we're going to Mexico City.
A long flight.
Shout out to Charlie and Juan Pablo. But we were going out there, and he gives me this edible, and I'm like, so I take it, like right when we get to the airport, like, all right, I'm going to walk around with it, you know what I mean? Yeah. This is before, was it legal yet?
No.
It was. I
procured those in the illegal fashion.
Yeah. But no. I'm saying like, I think Massachusetts was still. It was only medical.
I think it was just medical at that point.
At the time. Yeah. So we're in the airport. And I'm like, I'll just eat this now. And I swear, I think I told you this. Like, by the time we got to security, like I'm like, don't these usually take like 45 minutes to kick in? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm feeling it right now, man. And
if you had an empty stomach,
well, that's probably what it was.
You got to go through the security and all that. Oh,
dude, I was sweating it. So we're going through security. I'm like, fuck. Like, and then by the time I got to the gate, dude, I was like in full psychedelic mode. Like, I was literally looking at my hands, and it looked like the Aha Take On Me video, where it looked like fucking. It just was like cartoons with squiggly lines, and I was just staring at my hands for like. Whatever.
He was.
He tried to buy. He's like, dude, you got to eat, and he got me like a bag of peanuts or something. And I was like, I couldn't even get it in my mouth. I was like, it took me like half hour to get one of my.
Like probably the driest peanuts.
Dude,
the little, the little airport store. I figured cashews got like a high fat content. Maybe that'd straighten them out a little bit. We got on the plane, and the flight attendant woman says, "Oh, there's a couple extra rows if you guys want to spread out a little bit, because we were stocked into the same row." And I was waiting for the Truth to get up. He's like, I just had to climb over him and go to another row.
Up, dude.
Yeah. But that was probably a good flight, though, right? You probably just.
I wook up in Mexico. It's time travel.
Abracadabra.
I know what you're saying. I've been there with edibles before.
Yeah.
But I'm take like 10 milligram.
Yeah. Baby steps.
Just pop them, and if you can control where you're at.
What do you think is a normal dosage to take for an edible? Like,
for somebody like new to it or not like a heavy consumer, 10 milligrams is great to see what happens. Like you'll definitely feel something, but it won't be.
And don't wait like 20 minutes and be like, it's not working, because then you're gonna get fucking scrambled. You know what I mean?
Even that burn a lot, like just start
it's a different animal.
The absorption's different. It's a whole.
Well, doesn't it? Your body processes it different, right? Like isn't it like turn into like a different type of THC or something?
No, it's all the same. It's just how it's processed through the body. Like when you smoke weed, a lot of it is burning off like immediately. Everything else is getting absorbed through your lungs, right, into your blood. When you eat cannabis, you're getting a pretty high percentage of what's there, and it takes longer to get in your bloodstream. But it's a lot longer affecting, as a longer lasting time frame.
Duration,
as we all know from our trials and tribulations with edibles.
Yeah.
Because I've been exactly where you've at.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man. Yeah.
I was like, I literally was like,
You're probably eating like at least 100 milligrams plus to get there. Like,
I don't know.
And that will definitely send you there.
Yeah, I want to say they were like 150 or maybe more.
yeah, whatever.
Something like that.
But
It was like
so
some
fun.
little donut.
So what I was talking about
things,
is
right?
like that'd be like 15 individual.
Yeah.
You know.
So you would have known better if we were in Colorado, but we would on the black market, so you caught a bad one.
So let that be a lesson to everybody, you know, that hasn't fucked around yet. But dude, it was so fucking funny, man. Like when we got called to go, like luckily we had like an hour before we hit the board. But when we hit the board, like I was like, all right, I gotta keep it together. I just have to get on the plane. I had to keep a singular mission in my head. I just have to get on the plane. And I knew I thought I was probably all cool, like not cool like cool guy, but like good.
Mellow.
I look normal.
I know. I was like, all right, I think I got it. And I probably looked like fucking the scene where Hunter Thompson tries to check into the hotel on Fear and Loathing in Las
With
Vegas.
the cigarette holder and the fucking.
But he's all like walking all weird,
Like
and
a
shit,
lizard.
like-
He was walking around like a lizard.
Yeah. But you gotta have like, all right, what's one of your wackiest fucking stories? Because I'm sure you played with shit for a while. Like, what you must have one. You gotta
Caught a bad
Oh,
one.
with the edibles?
yeah, or whatever. You
Dude,
just
yeah,
smoking
the
them.
edibles, like, they're no joke. Like, shit, like we were talking about earlier, like Corey, our brother from Denver, with all the horticulture shit. I mean, we made this shit cheese biscuits. So we made some cheese biscuit edibles. It was definitely one of those situations where, like, I don't know, like the pan was in the oven a little high.
It wasn't fully level. Wasn't fully level.
We tried like the first ones, you know, and they worked. We're like, oh man, they're not really. So we tried the other ones, and I was on this dude's couch for 2 days.
Really? Yeah.
I just fucking could not get off the couch for 2 fucking days, and that wasn't in a public place either. Like I could only imagine like the airport.
Oh,
like,
it was the worst.
having to sit in the seats with like everybody
yeah.
fucking around, and like all the airport shit.
They look at us crazy anyway, going through security and everything that. So he's probably paranoid.
I think
thinking-
airports give me anxiety. Just like anyways.
Yeah.
Like the surroundings are in, just, like get crazier.
Yeah, there was mice running around. It was just all fun.
mice. I was like, look at them.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Then I looked at you. I was like, uh-oh. I think I Bill Cosby them all.
I feel like they had the same story. They just never fuck with edibles again because they're like, I tried it once and it just fucking.
I get a lot of people that say, "Oh, I tried to."
Right, which makes sense.
It's all
But
moderation.
it's 'cause they ate, like 200 milligrams of THC.
Moderation. I tell it to
Little
people
10
all the time. They
milligram
say, "I
shots.
can't
Yeah.
smoke weed. I get crazy. Like I get all messed up." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you know, you smoking a whole thing. You got to baby steps. You know what I mean? See what the right amount is for you, and maybe build up a tolerance. It's all moderation."
I mean, shit, 100
Moderation.
milligrams for anybody. I don't give a fuck.
That's
if
too
you're
much.
Shaq or
Yeah,
fucking,
that's too
you know,
much.
like that's gonna get you.
Yeah, you don't want to. You want to have a good time. You don't want to be a puddle.
Yeah.
You know?
I was definitely a puddle.
Yeah, you were puddled up for sure. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
but other times it's like sometimes it just feels like it hits you weird. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
with the concentrates for me, like anything that's off a rig or anything like that, and I smoke all day every day. That's one of my favorite things to do. But that's way more intense to me. The extracts are good. You definitely get your money's worth with the extracts. You know what I mean? When you're smoking flower, kind of mellow, whatever, you don't even really think about it. But when I'm on a dab, or if I do some
Depends on the flower too, though.
Yeah. No, I've had weed that put me on my ass, all the time. We smoke good weed most of the time, almost all the time. And then the extracts, though, holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Holy
because
shit.
they're concentrated, right?
Yeah.
It's like even like the great flour, it's 20, 25% THC, and that's really, really good flour.
Yeah.
Be at 30, it's phenomenal.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the Puffco stuff. That's 68% THC.
I like the extracts because you still get you can still taste it. Tastes good. It smells good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm
the
into
flour.
like all the science behind it. Like
Yeah,
that's what really like
dude, it's amazing to
drives
me.
my nerd brain about like all the
Yeah.
science, how it's created. I really don't even smoke extracts that much.
Yeah,
I
Just
do.
the
'cause
process
you gotta
making it and
test
everything
try
is
it,
super
but,
like science project.
but I'm like you, bro. It's flour, the edibles.
Yeah, I love the flower.
It was like that
I
ritual
love
you
it.
had forever too. Like
Yeah. That's part of my like infatuation with it. Although sometimes I complain and I say I hate rolling because I've been rolling all day.
Yeah, but you actually
But
love it.
I do love it. I'd miss it if it was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like with all that stuff, there's a ritual to things. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that's part of the ritual.
Yeah, that's why it was so hard for me to quit smoking cigarettes. But like, I've definitely started smoking a lot more weed, like more than I already was when I quit smoking cigarettes. But I feel a lot better. I don't wake up choking in the morning. You know, it's something to be said without spraying all that flame retardant shit. Like, I don't know how it is in Colorado and Massachusetts. That must be a federal thing. They have to put the flame retardant shit. And that's why I smoke those.
It's not just that, but if you look, there's literally 600 and something chemicals in a cigarette.
Yeah, that's why I smoke those hemp. I only smoke these hemp blunts, and the only reason, like, I quit tobacco, I started smoking the hemp blunts, and I feel like my lung capacity, everything's improved greatly since I started that. Out here, everybody smokes Frontos or backwoods, and that's like the most despicable thing you could put some nice flour into me. Yeah, man. Or the Fronto, the big tobacco leaf. That thing's got so many chemicals. A lot of people I know rinse them under the sink and wipe them down with a paper towel, and you wipe it down, and the whole paper towel's brown. All the chemicals.
That's why I
and
like
stuff.
joints, because like I had nothing against blunts, but like the wraps are fucking. I mean, you had those hemp wraps.
Yeah,
that's a whole different thing. Like, it's cool. There's like
those are the only kind I like too. The only brand I like, and I've tried other hemp ones, and they're thick like cardboard. These are like nice and soft, pliable. It's like IKEA furniture. They fucking pull the hemp apart, smash it back together, and that's the wrap. But to me, I say it's like smoking my weed rolled up in weed.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a little safer.
Well, yeah, and if it's not all chemically, you know what I mean? That's you know, because it's like you get the best weed, but then if you put it in a blunt wrap that's like sold at the fucking convenience store, like a Swisher or some shit that's been dipped in mad shit.
So now when you're getting your extracts made with professional equipment like you guys produce, that's a lot different than these kids that are making it with the glass tube, and they're gonna blow up their fucking house in their neighborhood. And I know you were saying earlier when you first started.
I'm glad we got back to that. That's kind of where it started, honestly. So people like to use the term open blasting for that, you know. And, that was nothing in like the labs, facilities, really small scale, but like you said, it's literally a fucking glass tube.
And it's incredibly dangerous, right?
Incredibly dangerous. Like people are doing this, and people have died from doing this in houses.
I've seen it on the news.
So is it like, so the weed extraction, is it similar to like meth manufacturing?
It might as well be. I mean, the chemicals aren't the same, but
like they literally take a glass tube, and they don't hold, like, I think they hold an ounce or like maybe 2 ounces. So they pack like 2 ounces of weed into this fucking glass tube. The top of it's blown so they can fit the nozzle of a fucking, like a butane can that you'd use to like refill a lighter with.
Not the grade quality that they use for the professional equipment that they produce.
Point. Before we go past, like, we're talking lighter grade butane.
Cheap crap.
All kinds of heavy oils and fucking machine oil, all kinds of shit in this crap.
Oh, good.
But like, there's a little nozzle at the top. You smash the can on the top of it, and it squirts all the fucking butane over the weed. And then you're just getting butane vapors and the concentrate like into a fucking dish falling out underneath it.
Yeah.
So you've got butane vapor fucking going everywhere.
Yeah. Out really here they call it poop soup.
And then they go put that shit like on an oven and blow themselves up. Or if they do it inside the house, hydrocarbons like butane, isobutane, they're all heavier than air. What's in the basement of most houses? A fucking furnace with a pilot light. That shit collects enough and builds enough. You'll blow your house 2 inches off the foundation real quick. And that happened a lot.
I've seen it,
but that's really where that shit all started, was people doing that open blasting. I've done it before too in the back.
You got to start somewhere, right?
Everybody starts somewhere, but that's the guy that started the company I work at, ExtractionTek Stainless. He's always been pretty good at like looking at things and trying to solve problems. So he saw that's what was happening. How do we like develop something that can do more than 2 ounces a run?
Right.
B, how can we recapture the solvent in the same process?
Yeah.
And then how can we like work with the fire departments and all these, you know, how can we actually sell this thing, right? And he did it. Like our first model, 1300 2-pound unit. The biggest thing with that, it was the first extraction unit for commercial level shit that had an engineering peer review behind it, signed off by PEs, their stamps, Denver Fire Department, the cops. Like that's where it all started. That one system. And the second thing was he put it in a closed loop. So instead of all that butane just shooting out of a tube and fucking,
it's just going around and
going
recapturing itself.
We recover it and then we can reuse it again.
I was just going to ask you, can you recycle the butane? How many times can you use it? Just
it depends like on what you're processing and doing, but I mean you can get anywhere up from 80 to 95% of it recycled per run.
Per run, wow,
which is a big benefit.
That's
then
huge.
You're not buying as much. Like there's consumables in any piece of equipment. For us, it's gaskets, valves, with solvent more than anything. So being able to recover it, keep it in a closed loop, and all that.
Oh, that's cool.
It was huge to get it moved forward, and that was our 2-pound unit. And now, things have scaled up to much larger systems with that same technology, that same principle, that same concept.
What's the capacity now?
Well, what's the biggest one? Yeah, because I'm sure you got
the biggest one we have right now is a 70-liter unit. So that's so the 1300 was a 5-liter. So it's 14 times. The Puffco might be getting me. I don't know if you're in the right.
How many pounds of ganja does that equal out?
You're getting about 30 pounds every.
30 pounds in one run?
Every cycle with it.
Wow.
How long does a cycle take?
On that system, depending on the solvent, different boiling points and all that.
Roughly,
anywhere from, let's say, 40 minutes to hour or 10 minutes.
Wow, fast.
So basically 30 pounds an hour.
Essentially.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Like,
that's impressive.
Give or take.
Give or take,
yeah. Yeah, give or take. That's
crazy. Cool. And you said the first one you started with was like a 2-pound.
2 pounds.
2 pound unit.
2 pounds an hour. Yeah.
That's impressive that you can get it up like that. And then that you can recycle everything. And that's just so much safer. And, nobody's going to be able to go out and buy one of these to do at their house or something like that. But trust me, you don't want to be made.
We get people ask us that all the time. It's like, oh, can I put a small one in my house? And I won't sell them shit.
That's a good question. What's the smallest one you guys make? That 2-pound one?
Yeah, the 2-pound one. But even like doing hydrocarbon extraction in your house is a bad idea.
Yeah, this is for pros only.
Definitely do it.
Pros only, yeah.
But it's like you said, the rooms has to be in a room built to specific specifications, probably with like fucking
that's all like NFPA, fire
fanning,
code.
Fire code stuff, but also probably air.
So it's constant air circulation, C1, D1 rated fans, rated for those kind of hydrocarbons, leak detection, alarms, all that.
Yeah.
Which it's really rare you have a leak on the system, but like you want to be doing it in a safe environment.
Sure, of course,
just like any laboratory process, right? Like you got to have the safety in place so your employees don't.
Sucks to blow up.
Yeah. It's not fun. Yeah.
Well, physically, you know what I mean?
If anybody's bored and want to see how bad it can go, just go on YouTube and type in New Mexico #lab explosion.
Oh, yeah. That might have been the video that I saw, actually.
You don't do this right,
Holy smokes. Yeah.
That's why there's so many regulations with it. Like there should be on that safety level.
Sometimes it's a good thing.
It can be done extremely safely, but I mean, if you just set some shit up in a fucking basement or a warehouse somewhere, and you don't
meth
know
lab
what
style,
to look for,
like
you're gonna it's like you're gonna blow your fucking shit up, and you don't want to do that, right?
Yikes! And then you don't want to smoke that crap either, because you'll fucking cough your lung out and you'll probably drop dead. It's got all that stuff never gets purged out of it when you're doing it like that, right? It takes a while for it to purge out.
Yeah, I mean, so that's like the other side of like no matter what the extraction method is, whether you're doing hydrocarbon extraction, CO2 extraction, ethanol extraction, whatever it is, like all labs really break down into 2 core parts, right? You've got the initial processing, which is pretty much everything we've been talking about with the equipment, the machines, actually taking the cannabis and extracting it into oleo resin or a building block, a concentrate, right?
Yeah.
From there, that all goes off to the post-processing side of the lab. So you see things there like distillation equipment, vacuum ovens, rotary evaporators, all these different pieces of laboratory equipment that let you develop that kind of building block concentrate into different end SKUs and different end products, whether we're doing like waxes, crumbles, shatters, live resin. It's the actual extraction is 50% of the whole process, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're making like it's the paint to paint the picture.
Right. All right. Yeah. That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So you're making, you're taking the flour and then you're making the next product out of it. Then that product gets made into, or the next ingredient or whatever gets made into whatever, however many different products.
Exactly. Yeah. So like perfectly said. It all starts with the flower. We extract that flower to make a concentrate, and that concentrate gets
used in
developed
10 other things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. Fucking what did you guys ever Denver get any hate mail from Amsterdam once you guys went fully legal and you stole pretty much all of their fucking tourist and U.S. tourist fucking?
I went out there and I was not impressed. I think I'd be more impressed with Denver at this point.
Yeah, honestly, not that I know of.
Yeah,
but,
I'm just fucking around.
I've never actually made it out there. To
Really?
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Like,
You're not missing anything, and I'm not trying to talk shit, but I went there and I wasn't feeling the love. I went into one of those shops. The weed was rubbish. They do the spliffs with the tobacco in there.
Yeah, you're not the first person I've heard said that either. Because I remember like being a kid, like always like, oh, Amsterdam, you can go smoke weed at the coffee shop at Amsterdam. But everybody I know that's been there, they said the same thing. They're like,
it's probably like anything else where there's a tourist industry now, and so now it's just cash cow shit, and it's not like, I'm sure if you're there with a local, they're going to show you the good spots. Otherwise, you're going to walk in.
I was trying to get somebody to show me where the good weed was. I asked this guy, he's like, oh, come over here. And I'm like, listen, buddy, I'm not you're not going to fucking kidnap me, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
It's about to turn into that fucking Hostel movie.
He's like, I got some. But I mean, that was their like main tourist thing. And now you can just go right to fucking.
Yeah, but maybe in like Europe it still is, you know what I mean? But like, you know, they probably significantly less numbers of Americans are probably still I'm sure there's still some.
They also do like the
and it's no disrespect. Amsterdam's a cool city. Fucking cool city. We went out there on tour.
Bicycles.
Never been. No, it's
too
cool.
Many bicycles.
It's a cool city. I'm just talking specifically about the weed tourist element.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about my one experience there too.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's only like 70 people that listen to this from the Netherlands. I'm not alienating.
Shout out to them.
But shout out to the
no disrespect
to the Dutch and Frisian motherfuckers.
What up, Johanna?
Like the psilocybin shit up. Like you can go get mushrooms from the coffee shops over there too.
Yeah. Oh, you can see. I didn't.
I think.
And this is taps into some we just had topic we talked about the other day off mic. That's like the next thing behind cannabis. That's like the emerging, the next emerging kind of mass legalization and industry kind of machine behind it, and medical use, natural plant, but also that can also get you high depending on which strain of mushroom you have. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like mycelium, psilocybin mushrooms, all that. Yeah. It's still a super early stage. Like I think Oregon, Washington, and Denver, they decriminalized mushrooms. That doesn't mean you gotta go grow mushrooms and sell them. Or
but you're not going to get in big trouble like you.
Yeah, but didn't like San Francisco did too? I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Now, can you extract psilocybin? That'd be the next thing, right?
You can.
Yeah.
Is it even worth bothering? Or you just eat the mushroom? I hate mushrooms. I think they're disgusting.
I think on the extraction side, it'd be more useful for like medicated doses of things, accurate dosing.
Again,
which is important
for research and for medical research and treatment. That's going to be another huge one that's probably a decade behind weed, but is the next emerging thing.
Yeah. Well, it's weird how patterns repeat themselves, because that's kind of how cannabis started. It was decriminalized first, and then there was a really restricted medical caregiver thing. And just kept building and building and building. I can see the same thing happen with mushrooms, but at the same time, it's a whole different ball game. I don't think people would be buying the quantities of mushrooms like people buy with weed.
Because it's a different game.
Smaller.
Weed has medical uses and it also has recreational uses, as does mushrooms or psilocybin, but the recreational uses of psilocybin have way more profound psychedelic effects. You know what I mean? You're gonna have 6 hours where you're in a fucking another dimension. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously microdosing is not like that.
A little more of a liability.
Medical treatment, but
you brought it up too. That's where I think a lot of the processing would go is the microdosing application, because people can do that in their day-to-day life. And not go to like, you know, they're going to the moon instead of Jupiter.
Yeah. Not even going to the moon, just going into a sunny day versus like flying into a
rainy day. Yeah.
A fucking a dolly painting.
Yeah, an alternate universe. Yeah. But yeah. I was doing microdosing for a while, and it was just funny because the story, you know, just when you took a little too much, all of a sudden you just happen a little bit of a better day. You're like, everything's so bright out, so nice out. I'm not feeling my broken foot or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. If you're feeling something and you're microdosing wrong. You're taking a little too much.
Yeah. It's not a microdose anymore.
Yeah. You got a little mild dose.
Or the mild dose range.
Yeah, you went from micro to mild.
Yeah.
But
you're not
doing the hero's journey, but you're doing a little.
Yeah.
Have you done the hero's journey?
Yeah. I've been. Yeah. I'll never forget it either. Like I remember it vividly, like yesterday.
It's insane how it does something to you like that. Like where it could have been 10 years ago, but you remember it like.
Yeah, I mean, for me too, I like doing it. Like I'll go camping if I eat mushrooms or do anything like that. I've never been able to do it in my house or in the city or around like
go to a party or something.
You gotta be a complete fucking savage to do a fucking handful of mushrooms and go to a concert. Like
I don't know how the fuck they can.
I don't know how you do it.
But yeah, we went to the woods. This is probably like fucking 15 years ago by now, but I'm not crazy about eating them. And like I got a sensitive stomach and taste and shit. So we did like a French press and made essentially tea, like mushroom tea. And
that's more my speed too. I don't like that.
We knew what amount we were putting in there, and it like all wound up in this Nalgene bottle, and we just fucking pounded it like a half each.
Yeah.
I remember like an hour going by, like, oh, this shit's bunk. It's not going to do anything. And we're like hiking around these fucking valleys, like camping. And the first thing I remember vividly is I'm walking up this fucking hill, right? Like with all these grass and bushes and shit. And I felt like my fucking hands were like dragging on the ground through the grass. And I looked down and they weren't. And from there it was, it was one of the craziest experience I've ever had, I think. But it was like a day and a half, and then like I went into nighttime in the mountains with like a fire and shit. And I don't even know how to put it in words. It was a once in a lifetime experience for me. That was for sure. But, ever since then, I've been like almost like a little scared to be like, oh fuck, man. Like I'll do the microdose and shit. But that was I wasn't expecting that to happen, and it did.
Well, because you don't
surprise.
Yeah. But it also comes down to like dose and stuff. When you're just pressing it into tea, you don't really know how much you're getting. You know what I mean?
We thought we did, and I don't think we did. It was
You said it lasted a day and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did a ton.
Damn.
I was glad though, because it was not to sound corny, but it was like a deep fucking experience.
Yeah.
Like it actually helped in a lot of ways. Like,
sure.
That stuff's great
scary
for you.
parts and moments, but I mean, like months after that, the way I even thought about things or like perceived the world around me changed, and
absolutely
I still do.
Yeah.
And that was in a good way, right?
It's crazy. Yeah. Like it I've never heard anyone take mushrooms and come out of it a bigger asshole.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
when you talk to someone who's done a lot of mushrooms or even DMT, a few people that I've talked to before they've done it, and then I see them years later and they're like, oh, I've been doing this, we have a conversation about it. But then you can tell they've done it. They're a little more like, it seems like they know something about life that maybe you don't know yet. You know what I mean? Somebody that's really into it, that does it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and just, it does something, definitely has an effect on your brain chemistry, no matter what. But I feel like, in the right situation, everybody, or I guess not everybody, if you have like a history of schizophrenia or some super mental kind of disorders, maybe not for you, you know what I mean? Especially the schizophrenia thing. But like everyone should do one full trip at least once. Like
the world would be a better place.
Agreed.
I feel like it,
at least once.
Yeah, at least once. Yeah. Like you see shit that you're like, but you know what? The weird thing for me, Dan, is after we did DMT, like the next time I took mushrooms, it was way more DMT like. I don't know if DMT unlocks some
Kind
weird
of
shit in your brain.
influences how you feel.
Or if it's just psychosomatically, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? But
Maybe.
I noticed that.
It's possible. I don't know.
I mean, it hasn't been a ton of times. It's only a couple times, but it definitely feel like that. Like,
gotta go back and ask
open some shit up.
Psychedelic scientist.
I know. I gotta get Manesh back on.
Yeah, that would be a good question for him. Yeah, the DMT is amazing. Remember this first
stacking psychedelics.
Remember the first time we did? You know how you were saying you wouldn't want to take mushrooms and go to like a party or something? The first time we did DMT, right? Yeah. St. Patrick's Day.
Is this like the worst possible environment for it? Not really, but
we had
Boston
some
on St. Patrick's Day.
No, we were at my house down in Fall River, and
we were watching.
There was like a million people. The fucking Leprechaun.
We were watching the
TV.
Leprechaun.
Remember the Leprechaun?
But it wasn't Leprechaun 2. It wasn't Leprechaun. It was like Leprechaun 2. Like whatever one where it was like quote unquote in the hood. It was I think that was part
the one
of
that he
title.
smokes the bong or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're like, we got this DMT. Let's fucking smoke it. And now there's like a million people at my house, and our brother Ty was there, and he's straight edge, and his lady, they were there, and it was like, listen, I'm sorry we got to do this in front of you, but it's not hard drugs, it's just DMT. And thank God they had seen like the Spirit Molecule, whatever the documentary was, so they weren't judging us. But we tried. I mean, obviously we didn't get anywhere with it because it was too much going on.
That's the thing about DMT. It's fucking hard to do.
It's hard
to do it right. You know what I mean? And to get it so you fucking launch. We were fucking hitting that thing like a fucking like Mike Tyson's punching bag.
You got to get a big rip of it and hold it in. There's a whole method.
Yeah, and it's hard to do because it smells and tastes like you're smoking a fucking corpse.
Mothballs.
It's fucking horrible.
It smells like mothballs.
I still, dude, to this day, we've done it a bunch of times now, but to this day, there's times where I'll be out. Usually it's outside, and I'll taste it like I just hit it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something like
some residual
dying in the air. It's like a plant dying near me or
like
something,
some
and I can taste
in your
it.
brain that's just like
picking it up
there forever now.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I taste DMT. Yeah. My wife's always like, shut the fuck up.
That happened to me once, but not nowhere near as often as that's happened to you.
I feel like
the flashback.
Yeah.
But it's like a taste flashback. Yeah.
I'll get there someday. The breakthrough.
But I got this like Sherlock Holmes looking pipe that's just for DMT.
Yeah, specific. It's got like a charcoal thing in it. I don't know. We tried that.
They fuck it up. Yeah.
I don't know what.
Got a pen, but the pen never seems to work as good.
Oh, and like we had some DMT like vape pens.
That's what it was.
They work, but not like
they don't launch it.
How we were talking. Yeah, there's no like
you get
blast off if you. Yeah.
Well, you maybe blast off a little, but you don't break through.
No.
Yeah. So I break through. I'm like you're passed out on a couch and you're in your own world and your own mind and.
Yeah,
it's 15 minutes, but it might feel like it's been 6 months by the time
you feel like you're in the womb, like you feel so comfortable. And fucking, that's the best. Yeah. We should have done something. Did this.
I gotta do the mushrooms again, man. I've never taken them in my life, and then during the pandemic shutdown, I was like, "Fuck it, I'll take some mushrooms." So
There's a dope documentary, like a newer one on Netflix. Like we were talking about it off mic the other day.
Yeah, what's it? I forgot what.
I think it's Fantastic Fungi or
the
World of Fantastic Fungi, something like that. But it goes over like psychedelic mushrooms and all that. It's way more about like mycelium. Mushrooms are the fruiting body of this shit called mycelium. That's not a plant. It's not an animal. It's like its own thing, and that's the thing that
like connects the whole world, right? They were talking about
the documentary is dope because it talks about like that side of it, like psychedelic mushrooms, like in current culture.
I gotta watch it. Have you seen
Neanderthals eating them and like developing shit, and might have played a role in like the development of the brain because they're eating these fucking mushrooms. Like, it's fucking crazy. It's really
that's
good,
actually that's pretty wild.
Well, if you think about it, right, like psychedelic mushrooms or psilocybin is used for all kinds of like mental or for like anxiety, depression, PTSD, because it says it helps not rewire the brain but create new neural pathways.
Okay.
Or like repair neural pathways or create new ones.
Yeah.
Is one of the claims. Like I don't know, but if that's the case, like. That could be what sparked the difference between
Cro-Magnon,
between
Neanderthal,
and
yeah.
more of a consciousness. You know what I mean?
That was the real evolution.
Yeah. Like that's kind of what that documentary is all about. Is like.
And if you want to get real tinfoil crazy with it, it's like they think mushrooms aren't even from the earth. And it's like,
here we go.
Here we go. So it's like spores, get the interplanetary shit. Like that's what was used to seed to fucking create. I'm just kidding. I'm just
hope that's true.
Alien mushrooms.
Yeah. Like aliens and I mean mushrooms and octopus. They don't think are originally of this earth.
They just swung by and dropped them off. They're like, eat these, dry them out. So they taste like shit and eat them.
There's a word I can't remember, but it's about like when something from one planet seeds another, like because shit does travel on asteroids. It is a real term. Like, I don't think I'm not saying octopus or whatever. I'm just putting weird shit out there that I've heard. I'm not saying I follow it or believe it or any of that stuff. So relax and don't send me stupid.
And the Earth isn't flat either.
Yeah, the Earth is fucking not flat.
Like like giant fucking chunks of like water or carbon or some shit. Like they fucking smash into a planet and oceans created.
Who knows? Yeah, it's crazy shit. Like there's asteroids hit the Earth all the time. You know what I mean? You don't know what the fuck's on shit or in shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe it's a little octopus.
It could be.
Octopi.
You got to find like an astrophysicist, do another episode on the space, how small our world is in the grand scheme of the universe.
We're just a speck.
That trips me up, man.
Did you see that? Speaking of octopi, while we're just on that, did you see that documentary? I can't remember the name. I'm like so bad at names.
It's the guy that fucking like bonds with the.
Yeah, and like he goes back and sees it like every year.
Yeah, my wife had me watch it, and I was fucking into it. I watched the whole thing, and they fucking definitely had like a relationship. Like,
it's weird, dude.
He knew where to find it, and then like he gets all fucked up by a shark or something, and like covers himself in all the shells and shit. Like they're fucking smart.
Yeah, super smart. I've seen things with them like sad opening jars.
Like, and the octopus is dead. But
Jesus Christ, they killed the octopus off. It's like that movie with it's like that movie with the lady with the gorilla or whatever.
Yeah, what was the thing with the octopus guy though? He's like some like fucking stressed out like business executive or some shit, and then just started diving every day and found this fucking octopus, and
then they just become
started
homies.
Going back every day, like spending like 6-8 hours.
He goes down there and tells the octopus all his woes. That's amazing.
Underwater where no one can hear.
Yeah. But no, I've seen them open jars and like they put like puzzles for them to do and shit.
Dude, the best one I saw was like they filmed. It was like in like I don't know if it was like a aquarium or whatnot.
Oh yeah, when he jumped out of the tank.
So like all these fish in another tank kept disappearing and getting murked, and they're like, "What the fuck is happening to these fish?" So they would put up a camera, and at night, this octopus would get out of his cage, walk over and get into his cage. Get out of his tank.
We knew what you meant.
Oh, so he like jump and fucking
and he would
tentacle himself over.
Climb his ass
the other
in.
one.
Yeah.
He would like mark something, fucking
Cause
eat
havoc,
it, and then he'd go back into his fucking tank afterwards.
They found like a wet stripe going across the floor or something. They say that an octopus one of the only animals that'll like reach out and punch a fish or something just
to be
a fucking asshole.
Yeah, what trips me out too is like I think we know more about space than our own fucking oceans.
Yeah,
like, they keep finding like the deep sea fucking crazy shit.
Yeah. Oh, dude, never mind
squid shit a few years ago.
The Kraken.
Oh, dude, you want to see some fucking real deal aliens? And I'm kidding when I say it, but like look up all the shit they found in the tsunami. Remember that tsunami that happened? Was it like 7 years ago or something?
Like the Japanese, the huge,
the one, that was in the South Pacific.
Yeah.
But like, if you look up all the shit like that they found that they never knew about, like they found all kinds of different species just from the fucking
got stirred up.
Yeah,
dude. Not to get tinfoil hat, but I'm going to, man. That's where the fucking real aliens. They go right down into the ocean, bloop, and they're down there.
Man, you know the puff goes working if we start on weed and wind up at octopuses and the deep sea
else
creatures.
Is it gonna go?
The thing is amazing though. It looks like something you'd buy at like a home goods store or something, like for cooking.
Is it? It looks like the bastard child of a bong, a turkey baster, and a fucking lava lamp.
That's the best fucking way to describe it. Like the turkey baster really like ties it all together. Like it's,
if you're a Patreon member, I will post a picture for you.
Puffco. And Puffco, I mean, I don't know if they sponsor.
Shout out to Puffco.
Give my man Truth a fucking sponsorship.
I mean, they do sponsorships and shit. We've never like really talked to them, but I know they do that. Like those things are like mass produced. I mean, they're pretty big now.
That's cool.
You can find them all the head shops. You can probably find one in the head shop here.
Yeah, probably.
Tell them I'll do a table read right after the Manscaped commercial.
Yeah. The Manscaped ones are the best.
How to Puffco and Manscaped at the same time.
Hit the Puffco and then fucking pull out.
It's convenient.
The lawnmower 4.0.
I actually have one of those. I'll admit it.
Did you?
I bought one.
Did you use my promo code?
I didn't.
Truth.
No, you would have got 20% off and free shipping.
Yeah, the version 1 model, like right when they came out.
Oh, they're on 4, dude. They're on 4.
Oh shit! I got to get up with the times.
Yeah, you probably got unnecessary nicks and cuts.
Didn't Packer say he got the 3 and fucking nicked his sack or something?
Yeah,
but he was going wild style on it.
Elbow deep, dude. Like, fucking got to take it easy.
You got to romance it a little. You can't just fucking. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just saying this in jest. It's just fun. Just as an aside, at some point, we'll have to get you out on a episode. Dan will already be on it, but me and Stress are doing a side podcast.
Yeah.
Called The Launchpad.
All right.
And we're just going to take psychedelics. And we're gonna wait an hour, and then we're just gonna hit record and see what the fuck happens. That's the whole podcast in that show. No one steal that idea or take that name because that's a good name.
That sounds like a fucking great time.
Yeah, and we're just gonna sit in his apartment or his house. I mean,
like beanbag chairs and couches and shit.
Yeah, exactly. We'll probably have to
how to like work this thing after a certain point of time. The board and whatnot. But
we'll have to just get lavalier mics. I think. Like the ones that just clip on you, because I feel like trying to stay on mic with that is gonna be fucking stupid.
Yeah, it'll be trying to like fucking touch the fucking thing.
The mic's hitting me in the face. Like, what's going on? But yeah, that's
cool.
But so where can people find out more about your CBD company and in your extraction stuff?
Yeah. For sure. So the CBD company is called VetCS, VETCS. You can find us on Instagram, just all one word, at VetCS, VETCS, or on our website where the store is and all like the analytical data, the about us, if you really want to learn about it. All the research papers we've been part of are on there. That's just www.vetcs.com. For ExtractionTek, the equipment manufacturing side, you can find us at www.extractiontek.com. ExtractionTek's all one word. The tech is spelled T-E-K. Then on Instagram, same thing, just at ExtractionTek.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And if you want to put your personal one out, I'll put all these in the show notes, too, so that like someone doesn't have to remember them. But if you want me, I'll put your personal one on there, too.
Cool. Yeah, we'll do it on the notes.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge I like to follow all the cannabis stuff. Like something with the little niche of the hash for whatever reason. Like there's a lot of shit on Instagram. Like a lot of consulting or even sales get done on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'll use like my personal one to like read all that shit, but it's more for like me and my own shit. Like I'll use the ExtractionTek one for all the business shit. So I try to keep them like a little bit
separate. Yeah, of course.
You can have the personal.
That's how it is. Yeah,
the life feed and the work feed.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I said, just make sure you're gonna fuck with any of this stuff. Make sure you kind of do a little research and make sure you get good stuff. Like if you want to get CBD, check out his CBD company, because obviously everything's legit and fucking monitored and fucking done the right way. Even like Cradle Lake Clear, that's helped sponsors us. So if you go on their site, there's like all information about how all their stuff is grown and processed and fucking done. Like, don't just go buy some fucking dollar store shit, like, because you don't know what you're putting in yourself. And that's the big takeaway, I think, from today.
Yeah, don't put random stuff in yourself.
Yeah, and fucking get a turkey based fucking weed thing. That thing Goddamn. If I'm slow today, I apologize to everybody. And that's
Me too. I'm still quite high.
That thing's fucking bananas, man.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fall asleep right here on the floor. Get done. But yeah, man.
Move the couch and turn this TV on.
Yeah.
Watch The Matrix or something here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Well, thanks for coming on. It was a good time. Yeah. Fucking awesome thing. And I never even announced this. Like, so for everyone that doesn't know, if you don't know by now already, just make sure you download the Tubi app. And Chopperhead TV season 1 is up, live, and running. And you know. Make sure you check it out on Tubi. We gave it to them exclusive. We had it with somebody else whose business practices I don't really agree with, and especially with stuff that happened during the lockdowns. So we're not fucking with them no more. We gave it to Tubi exclusive. It'll be out on YouTube and everything else soon after. But we gave it to Tubi exclusive at first. So check out Chopperhead TV season 1. And Dan, you got anything you need to plug?
No, man. I'm just high.
Yeah. You're gonna if you're in New England, you get tattooed by Dan. He's got a fairly long waiting list right now, but make sure you don't fucking no show.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll put his Instagram in the show notes, so check it out there. All right, everyone. Thank you.
Peace.
Whether you're looking to build a website for your business, your hobby, your podcast, or just for fun, Pair Networks is your go-to web hosting partner. Not only do we have the lowest domain price in the industry, starting at just $11, we've got hundreds of stunning website templates to help you stand out from the crowd. You're not a techie? Not a problem. With our easy DIY site builders, you can launch your impressive website without any technical know-how. And when it comes to security and updates, don't worry, we've got you covered. Our 24/7 US-based customer support is the best in the industry. Check out Pair.com today to learn more. PAIR.com.